All right. Hello and welcome back to the channel. I'm Christian, your channel host. Today, we're going to go over some of the changes potentially incoming to Section 8. I covered this in a quick video on my channel, but wanted to go deeper here and open up the discussion for you all here on YouTube and other related platforms that we stream to and push out to. Again, if you're watching this video, we appreciate you. If you haven't liked and subscribed to the channel yet, please do so. That helps us get the message out to more people. And we work on a lot of cool stuff here. For a little backstory, I bought a ton of rentals starting with virtually no money, like hundreds of rentals in Washington State and in Texas. You can do the exact same. A big part of my strategy, big part of this game plan throughout this whole entire process has been utilizing Section 8 for my pricing guides to fill a lot of my units. About 20% of my portfolio is currently on Section 8. So while it's not, it's about a fifth of my portfolio, it is still a very, very, very significant piece of my game plan. And I think a lot of investors right now around the country are relying heavily on this. It's been very favorable for landlords and tenants for a long time. Maybe not great for the taxpayer, maybe not great for creating very productive citizens, but it's been a good revenue source and a good source of free to cheap housing for a lot of people for a long time. So there are some proposed changes. They are not in effect yet, but I do believe we're going to get some version of these passed. So I'll share with you what is proposed and on the table, and we will open up the chat as we always do. So first of all, Section 8 isn't going away. The proposal is that there's a 40% cut to federal spending. Now, 40% cut in budget is massive. I've been doing this housing authority thing for a while, working with the local housing groups, Section 8. They run out of money every single quarter very quickly in most areas. They are underfunded for the amount of people that they are trying to place for the duration that they're trying to place them. Now, does this necessarily mean that that's the only way we can provide housing? No, absolutely not. There's a lot of different ways to provide housing. But for Section 8, the voucher program is very full. Applications are taking a long time. A 40% cut in funding would be massive. What is the actual goal? The goal is that they're going to give more support to state-specific programs. The logic being California, Washington, Oregon, New York, New Jersey, places that have higher homelessness than other areas. I imagine this would also be a factor in somewhere like Hawaii that has a really high homeless factor. These expensive states that take a majority of the resources, like, hey, let's have them come up with their own state programs, their own state funding. Sure, government will still give you money, but we're not going to take the most expensive states with the worst homeless programs and reward them by giving them unlimited taxpayer dollars to fill their units. I think that's actually probably a good policy, kicking these things to the state level. While it's not fun for us landlords, trust me, I love the guaranteed government check that costs my tenants nothing. That has been an amazing blessing. While it's not great for investors in the short term, I do think this is great for getting people employed, getting people out in the workforce, making sure that we have a productive population. I have had an issue, and this has been multiple tenants, and they're great people, but they are scared to go back to work. They got laid off for some reason. They got some past injury they've 100% recovered from, but the state is paying their food, their medicine, their housing, and they've been doing this for 20, 30 years. They're like, oh, I can't receive a paycheck. If I receive a paycheck, the free ride's over. We shouldn't be incentivizing that. For able-bodied, normal people, there should be some safeguards in place, and that's really what this is trying to do with the second point in the housing changes. Point number 2, they're looking at wanting to put a 2-year limits to how long people can actually stay in the program. So someone needs housing assistance, and this was one of the comments on my YouTube channel, so I'll address it directly. One of the comments from last week, hey, a lot of the people in these programs, disproportionate amount of people, are immigrants and they're female. Now they were using it as some political platform, but I do actually think there's actually a good clause in here for this. There are certain groups that rely on housing assistance more than others, and we absolutely recognize that. What this bill does say is for able-bodied people, and it's still giving them 2 years of rental assistance for a majority of people. Even if you're brand new to this country, I've had a lot of owners who are immigrants who came to this country with $4 in their pocket. One of my friends who's worth tens of millions of dollars today, massive rental portfolio, done a ton of development as well. He came to America with no English, no money, and he started as a potato peeler in Central Washington. You can work your way up. That's part of the American dream. Giving someone 2 years, you have low income, you lost a job, you went through a messy divorce, and the other partner was your spouse was the primary breadwinner. There's a lot of things that can happen to people where they do need rental assistance. The proposal does not eliminate housing for all of them. Basically, it just says, hey, you're not supposed to be on this system with the rest of us paying for you indefinitely for 20, 30, 40 years in a housing program. There are other programs for people who need help, but if you're able to provide for yourself and you're choosing not to, or your incentives are so good not to work that you're going to intentionally not take a job, not try to pay your rent because like, oh, I can get a free ride if I don't do anything. That is what this is trying to eliminate. That is wasteful. There's a lot of bureaucracy, a lot of overhead. That's what we're trying to avoid with this. Again, this isn't, I don't weigh in politically on this channel. I do have my political views. You may see them posted occasionally on Instagram, but this channel is just about real estate and what the policy actually means. And I think at its core, what I would love as an investor would be bad policy where the government just shells out infinite money and landlords can fill their buildings and the government will pay the rent and will guarantee it. That's a pretty sweet program for a real estate investor. As a taxpayer and as someone who just generally likes good policy to be pushed through, I think this is in line with what we need as a country. I think this incentivizes people to get out there, work, provide, pay their rent, be responsible adults, which I think we really threw a lot of that out over the last 4 or 5 years. Again, not specific to any political party, more with what happened, certain event that we're not supposed to say on this channel. That happened around 2019 and lasted through 2021. If you know, you know. But we saw a lot of bonus programs go into effect, and the system really just got drained for people really taking money that they really don't need and getting assistance that isn't helpful for anyone. So that's something that they're looking to change. I think positive for the country. Bad for landlords, though. One of the cool things with Section 8 is you can get these amazing tenants. Like when you get a great tenant in Section 8, they never want to move. It's a pain to use the voucher program that as long as they qualify, they pretty much stay there forever. So you get this tenant who's there for like a decade and their payments are guaranteed. They pay a little portion, the government pays the rest. It comes in on one check. I have a building that has like 15 people on housing. One check covers 15 people. I get a breakdown. It is beautiful. You're going to have more turnover in the Section 8 strategy. It's not going to, it's a real expense. It doesn't mean it's dead. It just means, hey, if you're using this as your pricing model, you really want to do something probably similar to what I did, which is you want to weave in Section 8, but you want to price in a way where you can get market rate and Section 8 tenants. Again, about a fifth of my portfolio hits that qualification. So it's not going to massively derail me, but I just have to keep in mind these tenants are either going to have to get a job or they're going to be moving out or getting onto another program. It's not that bad. A lot of the posts I'm seeing, and this is why I'm filming this video, by the way, like, oh, there's going to spike homelessness and the world's over. And guys, federal programs, generally speaking, suck. And I can speak for a lot, not all, but a lot of housing authorities, massively understaffed. I have one where the only employee there, it's a single employee place for all of Section 8. They're there 1 day a week. If you have a problem, you're going to have to wait a week. Period. They send a check to the wrong location. It's going to take them probably about a month to fix it because they have 4 working days. These programs suck. They're understaffed. The staff is underpaid. Even the staff that's hired doesn't have enough hours to actually do the job at hand. There's a lot of problems. I love the idea of kicking this to the state level and having specific programs specific to the problem that the states are dealing with. I think it's a great thing. I think it's a great proposal. We'll see how it goes through. But yes, I would expect a massive decrease in federal funding. We always play the game where the goalposts are, guys. So whatever the rules are right now, we're going to play that game. And when they change them, we'll simply adjust. People will always need housing. The market will adjust. No one's getting wiped out over this. But this is why you don't marry one real estate strategy. It's good to know how to use all of them. This is a strategy that's going to be facing some major changes. If you actually look at some of the proposed bill, I do want to give this the credit that it's due. While I've noticed that this current administration likes to do things dramatically and quickly, which can cause problems. I'm not necessarily a fan of that. I do like to see things have a little slower wind down so people can adjust and plan accordingly. But they did throw some good things in here. Among many other additions to what Section 8 would include, they proposed not a lot, but it was like $25 million of funding to kids getting out of the foster care system, buying their first house. I think that's a good example. And again, it's not a lot of money compared to the overall budget here, but I do like seeing things like that where it's like, hey, here's actual needs for people who actually do need help. They don't have the advantages that a lot of us had. It's a traditionally difficult situation. You're not you're in the foster system, right? You don't have an inheritance. You don't have a leg up. Uh, Giving a little bit of help to groups that need it. I would actually like to see more of that, where you have specific groups who do need help that have specific allocations at the federal level. I would love to see a lot more of it, but I think there's a lot of good things here for the country, good things for taxpayers. This is right in line with the Doge stuff of government efficiency. It's an inefficient system that, quite frankly, I've made millions and millions of dollars on. The way that I make millions of dollars on it will change, but as landlords, we tend to just keep rolling with the punches. There'll be new systems, new state level things, and there's always other housing assistance programs. We have Catholic church groups, non-religious groups that provide housing. In Moses Lake, there's a big group funded by the Mormon Church where they house people within their community. There are a lot of systems available for a lot of people. Section 8 is not the only way to play this game. Okay, I'm going to answer a couple of questions here in the chat, and we will keep going. Jim, you're definitely right. I started this 5 minutes late. I don't know why. StreamYard, which is the hosting platform that I use, decided that it just did not want to connect to my YouTube channel for an extra few minutes. But we're live and we're rolling. Oscar, I'm glad you love the channel. We've been doing this. Gosh, this channel is, I think we're about 5 years old now. 112,000 subs when I'm filming this. Hopefully, by the time you're watching it, we're already at 113,000. But very, very fun to get to grow this, to get to share the adventure, keep everyone up to date. This is my entire universe, is just real estate, real estate, real estate. I own the PM company. I have properties in multiple states, multiple markets, big cities, small cities, red states, blue states. I live and breathe this. This is my favorite game in the world to play, and we will always be talking about it. So deeply appreciate that, and I love to see the support for this channel. I do try to stay as apolitical as possible. For those who followed for a while, you probably know which way I lean. It's fairly apparent by a few of the things I say, I believe. But I really do try to keep this as neutral as possible. Regardless of your political beliefs, everyone does need housing, and how you do a great job providing great housing to great people. I think a lot of the principles, actually, ideally all the principles we share on this channel, should be uniform regardless of what your political beliefs are. Now, if you hate landlords, I think we can change that on this channel. There's a lot of stuff that we do that really does focus on providing excellent housing to excellent people. If you're a not excellent person, I don't want you in my property, so I don't really care about anything past that. But if you're a great person, you're looking for a place to rent, I want to make sure that we are providing within a price that you can afford, a place that you are very proud to live, and it's better than anywhere else that you could be renting at the same price in that market. That's why we have virtually no turnover. Tenants don't leave our portfolio because we over deliver, and we keep everything in a budget where we run profitable rentals. They don't become slums because they make enough money to continue to improve themselves. Danny Rodriguez. Awesome work, man. How's the 2-year turnover? Sorry, I put my camera right in the way of this. Work for single moms and veterans. All right. So they're very specific on this. They're looking at able-bodied individuals who, again, they need to define this a little bit more, but the proposal labels it as able-bodied individuals who would be able to enter the workforce. So you have veterans, you have the elderly. If there is a medical condition in there, or there's a reason, and it also covers people with any disabilities. So, you're in a wheelchair, you have physical disability, any of these things. I believe veterans were also a proposed protected class. I will double check that. But the goal is they can stay in the program longer if you need help longer. It is not designed to kick out people who have an ongoing struggle. It's for people who could join the workforce. Now, absolutely a fan of giving a lot of support to single moms. Single parents in general, by the way. I have friends who are single fathers who also have a lot of the similar struggles. When you are a parent and you are sans the partner, there is a lot of support that you do need. In a 2-year period, a majority of people should be able to figure it out. Now, I say this having one son, and I rely on my wife heavily to be able to do the things that I do and continue to raise our son. And I think to some extent she relies on me too. It's much easier to do as a couple. That being said, the goal is not to have a kid and say, hey, I'm going to struggle forever. All taxpayers need to pay for my situation, whatever it is. That's not the goal. And I think it's fairly politically neutral to say this. I think a lot of the support really should come from the local community, come from your state, come from your local churches. I think a lot of the groups that are, and we'll just say this again, as apolitically as possible, as a-religiously as possible. A lot of religious groups, this is really your community, and your church should be the places that are really coming in and helping this sort of situation, the widows, orphans. I would like to see more of that. When we do it on a government mandated level, where we end up, what I end up seeing happen is inefficiencies. The wrong people get on the program for a long period of time. There's just a lot of abuse and extra fluff. I would like to see this, kicked to private nonprofits, kicked to the state level, kicked to the community level, even on a county level. It'd be great to have individual programs, which means investors in that space really get to work directly with their local cities and states on the needs that they really need. That's what I'd like to see. So single moms, you have 2 years on the program if you otherwise would be able to work. There's going to be an exemption process that they've proposed for this, and disability and all sorts of stuff. But if you're able to provide, there's an expectation that you're not on the system forever. 2-year turnover. I believe if you're just a single parent, there is a 2-year period where you're going to receive some massive support. That should be enough time, around 700 days, to come up with a game plan on how you're going to provide for yourself and your family. I think that's fair. Personal opinion, though. Personal opinion. Hot topic. But that seems to be the part that people are really freaked out about. And I think we're also freaked out about the speed that things happen. This idea has been brought up. Sometimes this administration will bring up an idea and all of a sudden it's just in effect. For example, tariffs. We saw what that did to the stock market. We're like, hey, let's slap these bad boys on everyone. Massive changes. What I hope is that that's not what happens here. It looks like it's on pace to be something that comes into play in 2026. So we probably have a year one runway, but I have noticed they have a habit of saying, I love this idea. Let's kick it through. I like this in business. I don't know that I love it in politics. The mentality of ready, shoot, aim instead of ready, aim, fire. You know what the target is. You go, hey, let's just do it, and let's see how close we get to the mark, and we'll calibrate from there. I found that actually works a lot in business and keeps momentum going. Boy, when you do that with an entire country, it causes some weirdness in the markets. And as a real estate investor who does care about the rates in the current market environment and how affordable my rentals are for people, the economy is something you probably want to be a little bit more nuanced with. I think for Section 8, doing a gradual rollout is what I'm hoping for here. Again, nothing has been officially passed. This has been what's proposed. This has been, it's been brought up, and this is what's currently being discussed and on the table. What actually will happen will probably be something close to this, is my guess. But we could see all or none of it actually go all the way through. What I would do, and I think the applicable step here, is understand what's on the table and have a general game plan for, okay, we have new information. So if Section 8 is a big part of my portfolio, it's a big part of what I want to get into. If these changes went through, how would I operate my business? And is my business dependent on this one piece of tax code to work? If you find that it is, this is your opportunity now to strengthen your business and add to the strategies in your portfolio so that your business isn't dependent, again, on Section 8 of the U.S. tax code. I mean, that's a very specific thing. What I want to see is portfolios that stand on their own with or without Section 8. Section 8 can help. It's an amazing resource. It does not have to be the only way that you run your portfolio. Now, if we don't have any other questions, we have a new webinar series. It is available. If you are watching this, you guys can hop over to my Instagram at Christian Osgoods. I posted it on my story, I believe. It's also in our brand channel, a lot of different ways you can find that link. I may have it in the notes below here. I'll have to check with my team if they've already posted that. But there is a webinar tonight on creative finance. I have run a series for a while on how to find and fund deals. That series is over. That webinar is retired. This is how to get creative. I put together what I believe is the secret sauce. I think this is what a lot of people try to This is the information people try to sell you for like $15,000. Like, oh yeah, take this one course on creative finance. I dump all of it into an hour and a half masterclass. How to structure your deals, how to get great seller financing, how to do zero down bank financing, how to buy deals where you get paid to buy a deal that cash flows day one. Getting paid a lump sum to get paid forever. I share all of these strategies, the paperwork behind them, how I utilize it, and actual deals that me and other people have done in the last few years using these strategies. I think it's the most practical masterclass you're ever going to find online. It's completely free. This is the type of stuff I like to share on this channel, the education we like to put out there. So that happens to start at the top of the hour. So I'm going to go ahead and get prepared for that and adjust a couple of my slides. I see we have one more question here. So we'll end on our final question, and then you guys are all again invited to that webinar. Final question of the day here. Can you elaborate on how you call people I really got to move my my camera for this. Where you want to buy their apartments by asking them to have coffee? Yes, I can. Funny enough, a central piece of that last webinar series. So while you might not hear that as much in this current series, it's a huge piece of how you find seller financing. So the goal, you can go two directions. You can be transactional or you can be relational. When you're going direct to owners, you can do one or the other. If you try to do both on one phone call, I can guarantee you it's not going to go the way that you want it to go. Been doing this for a while. I have found that with owners, if you build a relationship, the deals that come to you, it may be deals that their friends have. It may be a deal that they see in their pipeline that's just not the right fit for them. It's too big. It's too small. It's whatever. Different people have different goals and different buying objectives. If you get in front of people and you can clearly communicate what your goal is in real estate and what you're trying to do. For example, when I started, I bought a couple duplexes trying to retire my wife and realized it's going to cost me like another 25 transactions buying one duplex at a time to retire my wife. She just broke her back as a school teacher. We went from, hey, we want to do this in a decade or so to, I want to try to retire her in this business in a year. By the way, 11 months in, I retired myself and her through this, not because I'm amazing, because there's strategies that you can use to buy real estate, low, no money down. We bought enough in that period of time. We got intense. We had a big enough why. If you can communicate that why, that story of yours for, hey, this is what I'm trying to do, and here's where I'm at, wherever you're at today. I'd love to meet with you for coffee and learn how you built this business. For example, I'm doing this in Waco, Texas right now. I own 0 properties in Waco, Texas. I manage 60 rentals in Waco, Texas. 60 rental units, about 5 buildings. I love Waco, Texas. I have not broken into that. I now have hundreds of units. I'm not telling people I'm trying to retire my wife now because that's not true. I do tell them, hey, I've had a lot of success in Stephenville. I am an investor in a neighboring market. I manage in Waco. I've been trying to spend the last year to find the right transaction. I'm having the hardest time. I've noticed you own this building here. I need to network with more owners here. Would you mind grabbing coffee with me so I can talk to you just a little bit about the Waco market so I can understand what I'm missing? Because I'm missing something here. Basic conversations like that. I don't usually buy the building that I call them about. We open a conversation about what I'm trying to do in the market that I'm trying to do. I learn how they built their portfolio. Sometimes they will sell me a building or two. More often than not, they're calling me saying, hey, there's a deal that's coming up, or I have a buddy who has a deal, or hey, you mentioned you're low on capital. I have a partnership that we're trying to break up. Partner wants to sell. I'd rather not sell this building, but we are in a position where we could carry a contract. If you're willing to buy, he's stuck on price and I'm flexible on terms. I get that call very often. So just getting in network with these people. With a broker, scripting's a little bit different. You usually want to talk about the transaction they have listed and use that to either buy that building, or if it's not going to be a deal, do an honest attempt of putting together that opportunity. If it doesn't work out, they now know what it's like to work with you, and you let them know, okay, this is what I'm trying to do. This is where this was a slight miss for me. Tell them where you could offer on the deal. And then now they know, okay, this is a real buyer. They're ready to move forward for the right opportunity. Between brokers who are currently listing things in your market, building a relationship off of a transaction that they currently have listed, and between owners, talk to them about what you're trying to do and learning from them on how they built their business. If you do those two things, you will have infinite deal flow. I'm closing a 76 here in about a month. I'm the same seller is going to sell us almost definitely. There's always room before it gets signed. We're not under contract yet. But once we conclude this, the plan is to buy an 86 from them, which is how I'm going to break into Waco. And then there's a 72 unit in a town called Mineral Wells that we are going to take a second shot at. That's a lot of rental units, and it's only 3 transactions. And all of those came up just from calling on existing deals and talking to brokers. They brought these deals to me and talking to owners in the market. And they let me know, hey, I'm ready to sell. We bought a 26 unit in Stephenville, Texas for $1.6 million. It was worth 2 the day we bought it. It's worth about 2. It's worth about 100,000 a door right now. So it's worth about 2.6 million today. We were able to pick that up. They weren't willing to sell when we first reached out. 2 months later, they found a development project that they wanted to do. They're a real estate builder, and they found a great parcel of land. They're like, I need liquidity now. I would have bought it for $1.8 million. They called and asked if we'll buy it for $1.6 million. Like, hey, we got to get this done. Let's price it where it's going to move. So that's how these look in practical application. It's just getting around the people playing the game and clearly communicating your goals, being a great listener. If you can do 20% of the talking and they do 80% in this conversation, you're probably knocking it out of the park. That's what we have for today. I'm going to go get prepped for the webinar, so I'll see you guys soon. It is live, so you'll see me here in this studio. I will answer questions at the back end, but if you guys want to learn how to get creative, how to apply this, I spent a long time trying to build the perfect masterclass. I think we knocked it out of the park. I love your opinions, so feel free to hop over to Instagram, hop on my story, register for that, and I'll see you guys on the next episode.